and welcome. I'm Joyce, and here's what happened this week. A grand celebration honoring the Virgin Mary kicked off in southern Taiwan with thousands of participants witnessing the Holy Procession. Sandy Chi was there.
The Virgin Mary, seated in a sedan chair, is carried through the streets of a small village in Pingtung, southern Taiwan. This is the Madonna Procession, the largest Catholic parade in the country, held annually on December 8th. The date marks the anniversary of when the church that holds the ceremony was established and coincides with the Catholic holiday, honoring the Virgin Mary, the church's patron saint.
圣母游行是天主教的一个传统的，特别彰显圣母爱，圣母爱我们世间人嘛。
The parade begins at Wanjing Basilica, the oldest Catholic church in Taiwan, dating back to the 1860s. Unlike other Catholic processions, this one is a grand celebration that blends both Catholic rituals and local Taiwanese customs. The fusion is most evident in the Virgin Mary's perch atop the sedan chair, similar to how deities are paraded around for traditional temple celebrations. But there are other unique cultural elements as well.
西方已经有在圣母游行，但是我们是融合了就是中式的一个色彩。你看今天你会看到放鞭炮，这是我们的特点。那个放鞭炮不是我们教友自己放，而是那个我们拜拜的不同信仰的一个那个家庭。
During the procession, around 50 volunteers take turns carrying the Virgin Mary through the streets. Her chair is said to weigh between 500 to 600 kilograms.
抬轿对我们来说的话是一个很神圣的一个事情，这样对我们自己心里面来说的话，这是一种承担一年当中所有的苦，我们把它承担起来，然后借由这个重担，我们好像把一年当中的一些罪啊或者是什么都释放掉，这样。
It is not only the volunteers who feel the honor and significance of the event. Thousands of people from all walks of life also joined the festivities.
欢金教堂的圣母的活动其实是在当地很盛大的，那每一年都有吸引很多人会来看。那我们本身是基督徒，所以我们也会有一个氛围，会想要来参与这样的活动。
Taiwan is also host to a growing number of Filipinos who are often Catholic themselves. For those that can join, the event helps them feel a bit closer to home.
I'm a Catholic and so very close together with the family because here in Taiwan is no family here. Only my daughters and some of my friends. I'm here to Taiwan for 27 years and this celebration of Immaculate Conception, I attend this Mass every year.
We Catholics are family-oriented. We want to know our family, our children, especially we are married to Taiwanese. We want to, educate them with the Catholicism and our faith to be strengthened, even though we are here in Taiwan.
Although the parade has concluded, festivities at this church will continue all throughout December. Christmas celebrations will keep the village lit up, spreading hope, peace and love in a joyful way to bid farewell to 2024. Alex Shin and Sandy Chi in Pingtung for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwanese filmmaker Ang Lee will receive the Directors Guild of America's Lifetime Achievement Award. On its website, the Guild hails Lee as a master filmmaker in a post announcing him as the winner of its highest award. The ceremony will take place on February 8th. Lee has directed many acclaimed movies, including Brokeback Mountain, Life of Pi, and Lust, Caution. He's also won the Oscar for Best Director twice. He was born in Pingtung County in southern Taiwan and now lives in the U.S. A heritage building in the historic town of Lukang has partially collapsed after years of alleged neglect. Local officials are denying they failed to look after the building and are pushing the blame onto the central government. John Van Trieste reports.
Xu Juyao's proud family legacy is in ruins. Heavy rains and a powerful earthquake in April have proven too much for the ancestral home in the historic port town of Lukang, a home built somewhere between 1796 and 1820. Though the structure isn't totally flattened, beams have recently given way, leaving the ground covered in rubble. It's a low point for a family that can trace its lineage back to wealthy traders from the 18th and 19th centuries, when this was one of Taiwan's biggest commercial hubs. Shi is resigned to the destruction.
可惜是可惜啊，反正东西就是会坏啊，尽量保持它的原状啊，就是尽人事啊。
But not everyone feels enough was done, especially by the local culture bureau. The building was on the local heritage list since 2009, noted for its architecture. Some preservationists say that during this time, the building was neglected.
15年都没有动，没有动。你看以前都很完整的这些雕花，到现在都掉了，屋顶也垮了，梁柱也断了所以说再不整修的话，哪有一天可能就是像这一堆土一样，整个都变成一个灰灰。
Local officials reject this claim that they let the building fall apart. The county's Cultural Affairs Bureau says it started planning to fix it up in 2019, and that as recently as April, it applied for funding from the central government. But that funding never came through. Now the Bureau says it's assessing whether the building needs emergency stabilization and repairs, and it will try to get funding from the central government to restore the building fully.
损害状况是不是有更加严重的一个状况我们在请专业学者去判断那如果说有需要做紧急必要的一个加固修缮的话那我们会紧速来处理这样子。
In a town known for pride in its past, the heavy damage to the old Shi family home slipped through the cracks. Now it's a matter of seeing how much of this 200-year-old heritage building can be salvaged. Klein Wong and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Civic groups in New Taipei are urging the government to grant official cultural heritage status for waterways now mostly buried underneath the city. They say the system of canals that date back nearly 3 centuries hold historic and cultural significance for the country's capital region. Wesley Lewis reports.
New Taipei residents are fighting to protect one of the few remaining visible and exposed sites of the city's bygone irrigation and canal system, also known as Liuguanzun. They want the municipal government to grant cultural heritage status. A rally held today, organized by local civic groups, falls on the same day as a scheduled government inspection of the site to determine cultural landscape status, which is given to historically significant man-made environments. Without this government-appointed status, it leaves the remainder of Liuguanzun and some of its surrounding historic buildings and houses vulnerable to demolition, something that demonstrators here say would jeopardize the neighborhood's unique character.
这里是我们的家，这里是我们的记忆，这里是我的故乡。但一旦这里全部拆毁了，我们会认不得这里是我们的故乡，甚至我们会对这里完全没有任何的感情跟印象。
Liuguanzun once boasted a vast network of crisscrossing transportation canals and irrigation ditches. They were mostly built in the mid-18th century during Qing rule in Taiwan. But that changed in the 20th century, especially in the 1970s, when many of these canals and ditches were filled in for roads. Demonstrators want the city government to provide concrete protections for Liuguanzun. Their ultimate goal is to ensure modernization doesn't just steamroll over the city's unique history and cultural heritage. Kamer Xu and Wesley Lewis in New Taipei for TaiwanPlus.
Houston is one of the most ethnically diverse cities in the United States, with a thriving Asian population that exceeds 500,000 people. Part of the city's landscape is its bustling Chinatown area. Leslie Liao went to Houston and met with Kenneth Lee, a Taiwan-born realtor who played a pivotal role in Chinatown's rise.
When I first got here, the one we show you just go before called the Deal Market. And all from here is all just land, a vacant land.
They call him Mr. Chinatown, or the mayor of Chinatown. Real estate agent Kenneth Lee is a leading figure in Houston's growing Asian American community. He's largely credited with building up the local Chinese-speaking neighborhood southwest of the city. Kenneth was born in Taiwan, He moved to Hong Kong at 14 and then went to the United States for college, moving to Houston in 1981 at the behest of his uncle.
He just said, Kenneth, if you go to the United States, you should go to Houston because I'm going to open a supermarket. You're going to help me.
That supermarket turned out to be a pivotal first step in creating Houston's contemporary Chinatown because it offered immigrants from Taiwan and Asia a taste of home. People came from far and wide specifically to buy the specialty goods that his uncle's grocery store offered. With more people came more business, and Asian enterprises sought to gain a bigger foothold in the city. As more businesses poured into the area, the demand for financial services grew.
And this was a time where the entrepreneurs reached a critical mass, and they were not properly served or not effectively served by the mainstream banks.
Jody Lee is chairwoman of Southwestern National Bank, one of the Asian-oriented financial institutions that arose from Houston's Chinatown rise. Her father, C.K. Lee, is one of the bank's founders, which was created specifically to serve the needs of immigrant businesses in the area. Jody's family moved to Texas from Taiwan. Her family was one of those who made regular journeys to Houston to visit Kenneth's family grocery.
And we lived in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for 2 years. And during that time, we would come to Houston on a monthly basis to buy Chinese groceries. And each trip would be like 3.5 to 4 hours one way.
While Chinatown boomed, Houston as a whole struggled. An oil crisis hit Texas in the 1980s, and people started leaving the energy industry-reliant city, causing property values to plummet. But where some people saw catastrophe, others saw opportunity. Outside capital poured in from places like Taiwan, Hong Kong, and California to scoop up cheap local property. But Kenneth soon realized those buyers needed help.
But in that time, Houston still is a very conservative place. So in the upscale property and the commercial properties, even you have money, you cannot buy.
Kenneth became a realtor to help drive those sales. As he sold more property, he saw a need to build relationships with local officials so that they could become familiar with the community. Kenneth worked with local authorities and city officials, showing that Chinatown could bring much economic good to Houston.
We have to work with the mayor, with the city council, to let them know we are here, and then we are part of the culture, and then let's work together.
He asked police to set up an office in his area, paying for the rent and utilities out of his own pocket, as he believed safety was a big priority for Chinatown's prosperity. Kenneth also regularly meets with local politicians to advocate for Chinatown's needs, as well as find out if there's anything Chinatown can do for Houston. Houston is the place where Kenneth has seen generations of immigrants set up shop and thrive. He firmly believes that the city is a haven, not just for immigrants, but for anyone looking to build success. He is a fierce Houston promoter, and his love for the city he calls home goes well beyond the Chinatown community he helped build. Devin Tai, Jeremy Olivier, and Leslie Liao in Houston for TaiwanPlus.
Thanks for watching. Here's what happened. Before we go, check out this zoo in Belgium celebrating Christmas with a light show and treats for the animals. I'm Joyce. Have a great weekend.